The Unreal Engine has been at the forefront of rendering techniques for some time now, and Unreal Engine 5 continues the trend with a comprehensive suite of features that allow development teams of all sizes to broaden their horizons and deliver better games than before. As you might already know, Unreal Engine 5 is gaining a ton of popularity within development circles, and we are already seeing plenty of great games utilizing this tech to create worlds that are almost indistinguishable from reality. On that note, we present 15 Unreal Engine 5 games that look just like real life. Welcome to Pine Harbor. Welcome to Pine Harbor is an upcoming survival game from a small group of developers by the name of Vision Forge Team, and it looks to be packing some punch. Set against the backdrop of the ominous town of Pine Harbor, the game is set to present a story that's equal parts scary and immersive. While not a lot of information is available at the moment, the developers have stated that the game is inspired by the likes of Silent Hill and Resident Evil, which has us excited to see what's in store. Of course, it's incredibly atmospheric and makes good use of Unreal Engine 5's detailed shadows and realistic lighting tech, and we'll be checking it out when it releases sometime next year. Duality: Echo of Ada. Published by Bandai Namco, Duality: Echo of Ada revolves around a raging conflict between a host of parties for a resource that seems to hold great value in this futuristic world. Players find themselves at the epicenter of it all as they assume the role of a mercenary with a mech who fights to fend off these evil forces for good. The story looks to be pretty standard from what we can muster from the trailer, but the visuals look really impressive, both from a technical and from an artisanal standpoint. Everything from the large draw distance to dense foliage and particle effects looks impressive thanks to the power of Unreal Engine 5. Duality: Echo of Ada is set to release for current-gen consoles and PC sometime in the near future. The Axis Unseen. The Axis Unseen describes itself as a first-person hunting game, but it also combines some mythic elements into the mix for what looks to be a fresh experience. Taking place in a gorgeous open world comprising multiple biomes, players will hunt down creatures of varying sizes and threat levels, ranging from a harmless deer to a full gargantuan mythic beast from folktales of the land. These hunts will be accompanied by a heavy metal soundtrack, so fans can expect to hear plenty of distorted guitar riffs and fast drum beats as they try to take down the biggest foes in the Axis Unseen. It'll be released for PC sometime in the near future. Rooted. Rooted is yet another game that puts players in a post-apocalyptic world and tasks them to use their wits and scattered resources to survive in this environment. Rooted is obviously being built using Unreal Engine 5, and it puts the tech to good use with impressive textures and lighting being highlights of the visual presentation. It's not at all just show either, since Rooted also features tons of gameplay options, ranging from stealth to crafting and much more, which should keep you busy for hours on end. It'll be released for PC sometime in the near future. Layers of Fear. The beloved horror franchise makes a return with Layers of Fear, and it looks like a really promising return to form. We got to see a ton of gameplay thanks to the recently released trailer, and Layers of Fear is looking like an incredibly atmospheric title that's filled to the brim with jump scares and horrifying set pieces. It'll be released in June of 2023 for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Project M. Developer NCSoft's upcoming Project M seems to be taking a lot of inspiration from the works of Quantic Dream, but it looks really promising nevertheless. Project M will feature an action-packed storyline with different characters, and you'll have the option to decide the outcome of that story through QuickTime events and decision trees. While it's nothing that we haven't seen before, Project M presents it all with such a striking level of detail that it's hard to not be impressed by it. The developer has made good use of Unreal Engine 5's features, such as Nanite, Lumen, and MetaHuman Creator, and the results speak for themselves. It releases for unconfirmed consoles sometime in the near future. Off the Grid. Off the Grid is Gunzilla Games' take on a battle royale, and it's set to combine a multiplayer experience with a single-player-focused PvE storyline in a seamless manner. Built using Unreal Engine 5, Off the Grid presents a beautiful rendition of a futuristic world with realistic foliage and beautiful lighting. The team is composed of developers with credits on Disco Elysium and Crysis, so it could certainly turn out to be something special. That said, details surrounding the gameplay are scant at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see the game in action. It's set to release this year for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. Project TH. Project TH, short for Two Hearts, is an action-adventure game that thrusts you into the high-octane adventure as a military operative in the near future. Project TH exhibits a high level of detail in its character models and environments, which also seems to have physics-based destruction as well. The action is looking appropriately brutal with a mix of action and stealth elements, which makes Project TH a game worth looking out for. It releases for current-gen consoles and PC sometime in the near future. Lost Soul Aside. Lost Soul Aside is developer Until Zero Games' upcoming action-adventure game which sees you battling evil forces in a futuristic environment with your talking symbiote buddy. The combat takes inspiration from the likes of modern action games, and we get a fast and frenetic combat loop where you can take down your enemies in style through a flurry of swift strikes and last-second dodges. And it looks really beautiful too, so we'll be checking it out when it releases for PC, PS4, and PS5 sometime in the near future. Project Grey. Set against the backdrop of the planet of Azima, Project Grey puts players in the shoes of a native of the planet who wages a war against technologically advanced alien invaders who have colonized this land. The project presents the vast open world with photorealistic visuals, and the combat looks really intriguing, which is particularly surprising because it's all being helmed by a single person at the moment. But that also means that Project Grey is still some ways from its release, and fans will have to wait for quite some time before they can get their hands on this one hell of a looker. Veiled Experts. Veiled Experts is a multiplayer tactical shooter where two groups of 5 characters are pitted against each other as they try to complete their objectives of planting or defusing bombs at specific points on the map. Veiled Experts features plenty of varied characters, which have their own strengths and weaknesses, and players will have to make important tactical choices in terms of character loadouts, as well as moment-to-moment gameplay to gain an edge over their enemies in combat. It'll be released for PC on June 13th, 2023. The Relic. Set in a dark fantasy universe, Project Cloud Games' upcoming The Relic sees players battling gargantuan enemies in some really unsettling environments. The Relic will be a Souls-like game, so players can expect a consistently high level of challenge when it comes to boss fights and general progression. The combat looks really fast-paced, with swift enemy movement and rapid succession attacks, which should hopefully make for a fun time. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Silent Hill 2 is one of the most beloved horror games of the last couple of generations, and fans are getting a complete remake of the classic that's currently in development at Bloober Team. It's being built using Unreal Engine 5, and the developers have done a great job of modernizing this classic while retaining the core feel of the experience. The game will now be played from an over-the-shoulder perspective, among other major changes, and that should hopefully make for a much better experience this time around. It releases for PS5 and PC sometime in the near future. Paranormal Tales. Paranormal Tales tasks players to play through different tapes that contain paranormal footage of missing people, with the aim of uncovering the reality behind those incidents. It's all presented in a unique body cam style, which puts you directly in control of the action. Couple that with photorealistic visuals, and it isn't hard to understand why Paranormal Tales deserves your attention. It'll be released for PC sometime this year. Code to Jin Yang. Code will focus on wuxia arts combat, and it looks absolutely stunning to say the least. The developers have done a great job of capturing the spirit and aesthetics of an ancient world, and the fast and frenetic combat shown in the trailer is exactly what comes to mind when you think of the mightiest warriors of that time. Code to Jin Yang is still early in its development, so fans will have to wait for some time before it releases for unconfirmed platforms sometime in the near future. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request, we upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.